Welcome back to Bakers Bantering.
Wah, wah, wah.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays. It feels like Christmas. It feels like Christmas to me and to all of you.
We did already have our first snow of the season.
We did.
That was pretty exciting. It was a beautiful snow.
It really was. It was perfect because, well, it was a pain in the ass coming home from Kansas City, but it was perfect here in St. Louis because it didn't stick to the streets.
Sure.
It was pretty, but it didn't make driving difficult.
Well, it did in Kansas City where we were.
Well,
but
I wasn't in Kansas
yeah,
City.
it took us 6 hours to get home. It should have taken less than 4.
This is true.
But that's okay. We got home safely. Dad drove us safely. And we got to have Slim Chickens in Jeff City, didn't we?
Yum. Mom
Yeah.
loves Slim Chickens.
I did not have the nice real hot chicken sandwich. I always get that at Slim Chickens, but
What'd you have?
I did have chicken tenders and fries.
Yeah. Actually, that was on the way out. I think we had Cane's on the way back. We had Slim Chickens in Columbia on the way out and Cane's on the way home in Jeff City.
Yeah.
But
so I feel like dominating with cereal.
Yeah. Chicken.
Yeah.
I'm a chicken boy.
Chicken boy. Yeah.
Speaking of chicken, I posted a video today of Derek. It was pretty funny. He told Chick-fil-A that his name was Liv Morgan. And I thought it would be kind of funny to keep going and just see what else he can come up with. So, but today I had an idea. I told him normally I want him to surprise me. I don't want to know because I think it'll be funnier if I'm reacting whenever he's saying it for the first time too. But today I actually had the idea, so I had to tell him. Who'd you tell Chick-fil-A you were today?
Santa
Claus? Did they believe it?
They didn't even give him a name.
Aw.
When he said Liv Morgan, it said Morgan on there. So they at least got like half the name that they addressed to him. And they didn't even write Santa on there.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It was a bummer, but he liked my idea.
I do love your idea, but
And you look like Santa now.
well, reason I got this hat on, Mom, because we are officially seasons of holidays.
That's right. We got 2 Christmas trees up. I'm pretty much decorated for Christmas at this point.
Yep,
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is.
it is.
There's 2
It is.
most wonderful times of the year. You know what they are? What's the first one?
What?
Baseball season.
Okay, maybe there's 3 most wonderful
Well,
times
I
of the
didn't know
year.
what else she was going to say.
Well, Christmas.
Well, I knew Christmas was one of them. What's the other one?
March Madness.
I knew it was sports related.
But baseball season's pretty awesome too.
I'd agree. I'd agree on that. And
Derek is planning ahead, Jenna.
What's he planning?
He called Jared on Sunday, our buddy from Philadelphia,
Uh-huh.
to see if he would help him with his March Madness picks. I'm like, dude, like this college basketball has just started.
I
And
don't
oh my
know.
God, what about that freaking Mizzou win against Kansas?
Oh, that was a great game, except for it was kind of scary. Mizzou. Okay, so
it was a good game. We actually went to Cyberg
Yeah, we watched it at Cyberg's with our friends, the Schaub family.
that week.
so
With
I was
the
at a
Shaw family. So they interrupt you, Jen. And Mom, I was thinking with the
Grinch.
yes, the Grinch.
You were dancing with the Grinch, weren't you? I
Oh
saw
yeah,
that.
you
I
were
was.
dancing with the Grinch. But back to that ball game.
Okay, so let me tell you. So I went to Mizzou. I'm the only one of the Baker family that went to the Mizzou.
That is
Everybody
true.
does claim Mizzou and they cheer for my Mizzou Tigers, but I am the only one that went to Mizzou. My fiance also went to Mizzou. We had a couple's baby shower Sunday afternoon after the Mizzou game. And here's the thing about being a Mizzou fan.
And by the way, the baby shower was not for Jenna. It was for a friend
Yes, it was for friends from
It's for
Mizzou.
friends.
from Mizzou.
But here's the thing about being a Mizzou fan. You never you never want to get too cocky.
You do not celebrate until the game is over.
Until it says 0.0 final score. Anything can happen, and Mizzou really likes to blow a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which type of sport it is. It's just a Mizzou thing. It's a football thing. It's a baseball thing.
It's a basketball
It's a basketball thing. Mizzou likes to disappoint its fans. You have to wait. I'm talking about Mizzou for a second. One time, Chris and I were in New Orleans, and I was shopping, and him and his buddy who lives in New Orleans were at a bar. And they're texting me, and they're like, the fourth quarter just started. You better get down here. Mizzou's winning. And so I get down there to the game, or to the bar where they're watching the game. And there's this gentleman there, and it was last year. Mizzou was playing K-State. Mizzou played incredibly well last year in football. They played well this year, too. They played really well last year. But we didn't know at the beginning of the season how good they were going to be. K-State was ranked. Mizzou was not. And we were like on the edge of our seats because it was back and forth. And we were so close to winning that game. But it was funny because there was a guy there
all the time.
There was a guy there who came up to us and was like, which team are y'all rooting for? Because he could tell we were very invested in this game, but he couldn't tell which team we were rooting for. And we were like, well, all three of us went to Mizzou. And he's like, well, you guys sure aren't celebrating very much like it. And I'm like, you don't know anything about being a Mizzou fan, okay?
The game is not over.
We don't celebrate until the end, okay? And he's like...
We never celebrate till the end.
And he was like giving us crap, but he's like, well, I'll be a Mizzou fan for you. And we're like, okay, but you got to be chill. You got to be chill with the celebrations.
Yeah, don't jinx us.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because my sister is
Mizzou did win that game, by the way.
They did. And
that
my
one.
sister is
M-I-Z.
a huge KU fan, ZOU. And I was talking to Kelly, and she's like, have you said anything to Vicky?
Nope.
I'm like, oh, absolutely not.
And I even asked
at
Chris.
the same time, we're texting in our family group, and Jenna's at her home, and we're at lunch, and my husband Eric says, did you say anything to Vicky? How's Vicky doing? And Jenna's like, don't jinx us, which is
like,
exactly
don't do it.
what I said.
Mind you, at this point, Mizzou's up 20 points at halftime.
Right, but it got down to 2.
It did. And I was like, they're going to blow it. They're going to pull a Mizzou.
Yep.
And KU is ranked number 1. And Dad even said, Dad's like, well, Mizzou's really good at blowing leads and KU's really good at winning games. So this is not a good combo for Mizzou. And I'm sitting there and I look at Chris. We're up like 20 points at halftime. I look at Chris. I'm like, do I say anything in the family group chat? And he's like, don't you dare.
Yeah,
and
no.
He's like, no. And luckily I didn't because it did get within 2 at one point. But the funny thing was, so we go to this baby shower, not for us, for one of Chris's buddies. And it's a bunch of Mizzou kids there, former Mizzou kids. So of course we're all
Mizzou
talking.
alumni.
Mizzou alumni. That's the word I'm looking for. We're all talking about the Mizzou game and, oh my God, we beat KU. It was so awesome. Chris was making fun of me, and he of course told all his friends. I teared up when the kids rushed to the court.
It's so cool.
Like
you were like, I wish I was there.
Yes, I was like, oh my God, I wish I was there. That is so cool. And they like all stormed to the court, and I like legitimately had tears in my eyes. And Chris is like, you're a loser. And I'm like, thank you.
But we were a winner on Sunday afternoon.
He was like, he was just making so much fun of me. And then of course he tells all his friends that I teared up. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to one of the wives.
Speaking of tearing up.
And I'm talking to one of the wives and I'm saying how, I was waiting for the end to text my family from Mizzou, and her husband is a huge Mizzou fan. Like they go to a lot of the football games. They travel for football. Like they live in Arizona now and still go to a lot of the football games. And she looks at me and she was so serious. And she goes, I don't think Taylor would have married me if I had KU fans in my family. And I was like, well, it's not my immediate family.
That does not make sense.
And she goes, well, who is it? And I was like, it's like my aunt and uncle and my cousin. And she goes, would have been tough. Mind
funny.
you, she has a baby on her second baby on the way with him. They've been married for years. And she's just like, I don't know if he would have married me.
That's funny.
It was so funny. Okay, Jared.
Well, that back in the Big 12 days, that Missouri Kansas rivalry was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
I don't even know if the kids that are enrolled now really understand what a big deal that was for some of the alumni.
I tell the people we're with, I'm like, yeah, actually one time when I was little, my aunt got me a KU cheerleading outfit and put it on me, and I'm pretty sure my parents were not very happy about that.
Well, Kelly said one of her daughters seriously considered KU, and she was like, I'm not giving them a dime. There is no way in hell.
That's hilarious.
Well,
and she is a Mizzou grad.
Right, there you go.
So anyway.
Wrestling is a sport.
Nobody said it
Wrestling
wasn't.
is a sport. I know.
Nobody said it wasn't.
Anyway, sorry. I just hijacked everything with that
It's
game.
okay.
But oh my God, that was so exciting.
It was very, very
and I love you,
exciting.
Vicky, but that was so freaking exciting.
And as soon as it was over, I sent that MIZ text.
And I did reply ZOU.
And I
and
waited
so did
until the
my
very end.
sister's daughter-in-law, who is also a Mizzou grad. So yay, Jordan.
If there's a specific song that if we play at
Speaking
our
of
wedding,
which-
all of the Mizzou grads will start chanting FKU in the middle of the song.
Well, maybe we should play
and
that
I think
just for
that we
fun.
might just need to surprise our family with because all Mizzou grads know when you say FKU in this specific song. I'm not going to say which one it is because then they'll know it's coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of
But
which,
I think we might need to pencil that into the calendar.
Speaking of which, I know who won this weekend. That was Kansas City Chiefs getting the W.
Oh my
This
God.
past weekend.
Crazy. That doink off the freaking upright.
They tried really hard not to get that W.
Oh my God.
They
Yeah.
might have
Did you
tried
see
harder
that?
than Mizzou to
And
not get
Jake's
that
like,
W.
I don't watch anything.
Well, it's way more better than wrestling or something else like that. But
I was upstairs. Dad was downstairs. Katie and Ryan were in her room. And
I was in my room.
He
watching it
wasn't.
too.
but they actually,
were you
Ryan
watching
might
it
have
in
been
your
gone
room?
by then, but I'm
Yes,
upstairs.
I have pickup, Jenna.
Dad's downstairs at the same time. We both start screaming, holy shit.
I
It
know.
was crazy.
I know.
That was a
pretty
great
exciting.
game. That was, I mean,
was a great game.
the Chiefs have just found a way.
Well, Jason Kelsey was making fun of Travis on their podcast, apparently, about it being the Taylor magic that somehow has infiltrated the Chiefs. And she has this like magical touch. And for some reason, the Chiefs just keep barely making it by. And he's like, you got that Taylor touch.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Baby.
I had something else I wanted to bring up, and now I can't remember what it was.
I know. Same. I lost my train of thought. It was something he said that reminded me of it. Speaking of the holidays, speaking of football. I don't remember. Oh, speaking of weddings. That's what I meant to do.
Speaking of weddings, where are we going later?
What are we doing today, Derek?
Does he know? Did we plan our evening without him even being in the know? Who knows?
Oh.
Do you
We
know
have
where we're
plans
going
tonight.
after
Did
the
you know?
pod?
We have plans tonight that aren't watching NXT. Are you aware?
Oh, no. Maybe I haven't told him yet.
My bad. Nobody told Derek. We all made a plan without. We have been texting in the group chat without him.
Yeah, that's true. We're going to get you fitted for your suit for Jenna's wedding after the podcast.
Well, I am so excited for that.
Luckily,
Yeah.
we do have to go early, so you might get home with enough time. I mean, you will get home with enough time to watch NXT tonight.
It starts at
Does
8,
it start
right?
at 8. You might even be home before 8.
Yeah. Then we're going to Peel for dinner.
Peel's
That
so
yummy pizza. Oh, I'm excited. We'll
Oh.
get several different
We're
flavors
gonna
to
have to
try.
get the knots too.
Pretty
Okay.
sure
You know
it
those one
starts
things.
around 7.
I thought NXT started at 8 these days.
It does. It does.
Okay, well then
It's
you'll be
just
good to go.
change the time. Hey, Jake, can you look up the time for NXT tonight?
I'm
Yeah.
actually very excited. I don't know if I told you this, but I think that I want the guys to be wearing black ties.
Okay. You know, one thing that I'm going to insist upon when we do this suit, when we bought his blue suit,
We need to bring the
a
shirt.
waiter.
I'm going to get a custom shirt done for him.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not going to.
They can do it.
Okay, well, we're not going to just wear the thing that's too big. But the one checkered one he has is too short too.
No,
That
I
needs to
know.
be
I think you
longer.
need to bring it.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the problem with
Hang
your
on.
blue suit. You don't like the pants, do you?
We will talk about that in a minute.
Well, that's why he said 7. Did you say 7?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
it's 7.
you'll have to watch it at 8
It's okay. But you don't like the pants for that suit, do you?
because of where they fall on his belly.
Well, when they measured him where the pants should go, which is in the middle of his belly.
And he wears it
And
under
he wears
his
it under
belly.
his belly. And he is never going to wear it on his belly. And so we need to be insistent about the fact that they make it.
Well, I did call them. And for those of you who are OG Baker Banter fans, you may have seen the vlog that we did the first time Derek got fitted for a suit a couple years ago. We met and made friends with our buddy Scott. And I did call them today to let them know that we were coming. And Scott is working and will be there till 6 p.m. today.
He's a super nice
So-
guy.
I said, don't worry about having Scott call me back unless he has a problem with being on camera. So hopefully he won't call me. Because otherwise we'll see him when we get there.
So you're
But-
going to get your second suit.
Yes.
Well, I am so excited for that.
Speaking of that, did
While
I ever
we're
pick up your
there-
first suit? It's not still at the dry cleaner, is it?
No, that's on the back of the chair, which is why I thought you got it out to like bring it with you or something.
that's Ryan's.
Oh,
That's not Derek's. Did I
Oh.
ever pick up your suit from the dry cleaner?
can't answer that.
I don't think you did.
Oh, shit.
Oh
It's
my
been
God.
weeks.
That's-
That wedding was in October.
That just reminded me that I have a dress I need to pick up from the seamstress. Man, we're all over the place. Okay. I was thinking that okay, and let me know if you have a different opinion in the comments, but here's the thing. Wedding bridal parties, it's very in right now to have the bridesmaids wearing different types of the color and types of dresses. So we have determined that all of the bridesmaids are going to be in different dresses. And I have also, part of the problem is that my favorite color is red. And it's like the brightest shade of red you can possibly find. And they don't really make the shade of red that I like best in many options for bridesmaids. So therefore, Katie got a bright red dress from some random place. And everybody else, I'm like, well, we're just going to have to mix and match reds until we think it looks good. So all my bridesmaids have ordered their dresses. They're all going to be in different shades of
What
red.
time is it right now?
It's almost 4 o'clock. But the groomsmen are going to be in charcoal suits. And at one point I was thinking maybe we would get like a different shade of red to kind of match the person that they're walking down the aisle
Ugh,
with. But I
that'd
just
be
think it's
hard.
going to be too difficult.
I agree.
Which is why when we went to get Chris's suit designed, because Chris is getting a custom suit, we determined that I was thinking we should just have all the groomsmen in black ties.
I think that's fine.
to match their gray
Hang
charcoal
on.
suits.
You want me to become a waiter?
What are you talking about, waiter? You're gonna wear a suit in the wedding.
Yeah, that part I get. Wear a suit, all black. Are you trying to mean to
No,
do
no, no,
work
no.
at
The
the
suit's-
party?
The suit's going to be charcoal gray,
The suit's gonna be dark
and
gray,
the tie is going to be black.
black, and your
And
shirt is gonna be
ivory.
ivory.
And you know what?
You're going to make your own
Hey,
blood a waiter.
If we need,
Why?
hey, if we need you to jump in and help out and wait some tables, that's what you're going to have to do on your sister's big day.
You're gonna do what you're told. That's what you're gonna do. All right, Jake. You want to hear something funny? So Chris and I are getting married by his uncle. His uncle is officiating the wedding. And he is very sweet. He's very funny. And he comes to
There's not a joy glass down.
I told Stuart and Joy this story the other day and they started cracking up. It's kind of funny the reaction we get depending on who I'm telling the story. You know how well they know our family, because the people who laugh really hard, you're like, oh, that makes sense that they know you so well. And the people who don't laugh as hard, they don't maybe know the dynamic as much. Well, Chris and I go to lunch with his uncle, and he's so sweet. He pulls this piece of paper out of his pocket. He has these questions. He wants to go over his plan for the ceremony with us. And we had determined that Chris's dad would be giving a scripture reading. And he was thinking that maybe we would do 2 scripture readings. And he was thinking, well, if Chris's dad's going to do one, maybe we should have somebody from Jenna's family do the other. And so I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, you know, kind of going over in my head, like maybe who would be the best person for that. And at first I thought maybe mom would be a good choice. And but she's going to be giving a speech at the reception. So I'm like, well, she already has her moment. Like, I don't know. And then he says,
Not pick me.
And he says, he's got his little piece of paper and he's going down the list of things he wants to talk to us about. And he says, well, what about your brother? Is that something you think that he would want to do? And Chris and I start cracking up.
No.
And I'm like, absolutely not. Hard pass. Absolutely hard bet. Big fat no. Bold letters. Flashing lights no. And Chris is like, yeah.
And plus, I am going to speak during that
Rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, and Chris is like, yeah, we're not letting him speak during the ceremony. If he's going to give a scripture, it'd be about wrestling.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Acknowledge me, Roman
Acknowledge
Reigns.
me!
Yeah, we're like, yeah, no, Derek.
Acknowledge Solo instead of Roman.
Boo.
It was so funny.
You're
And then he just grabs his pen and crosses that note off of his list. He's like, okay, got it.
Nope,
Not
that's
a
a no.
choice. No, what we've actually determined that we're going to do, instead of having a scripture reading from my side of the family, Megan's actually going to sing a song. So that's what we're going to do.
Well, that's perfect.
But we're
has a
She
beautiful
does have a
voice.
bit of a voice.
But
She
we're
does have a
certainly not
beautiful
going to
voice.
ask you to give a reading.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
You're just going to stand up there and look cute.
You do have
As
to
the
stand.
man of honor.
He's going to look handsome.
Oh, sorry. The handsome man of honor.
Okay.
Love those eyebrows. And you will have a fresh shave.
Yes, and you do remember
Well,
the
that I'm
wedding
not
day
worried about.
is about me and Chris.
We know that, Jenna.
Okay, we know. Does Derek know?
We know.
What
Okay.
about I? Does I know?
Yeah, he's talking about him and Tess and Mark and Ryan and
okay. So
Oh,
Derek
right?
knows.
Mark is banished.
still banished.
Wow, poor Mark. Well, but what if I invited Mark to the wedding?
I would make sure he's banished for good.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. Tough critic.
All right.
Okay, so Derek, I did want to ask you.
Don't even go there.
Okay, we'll go to a different topic first. So I do want to address some changes that we have made. As some of you may have noticed, we did not put out an episode this past week, and unfortunately, that is just going to be the case moving forward. We also have not been putting out the weekly wrestling wrap up that is
Yep.
suspended indefinitely. Sorry. We just truthfully, we are not in the best of places financially.
We don't know when Ricky Razor Wrap Up is coming back yet. Pretty sooner, maybe over the new year. We'll see what it's gonna be like during that.
Yeah, it's doubtful. It, as much as we love making the podcast, it does cost us money to be able to put it out. And we really do enjoy working with our producers, Jack and Jake, but we do have to pay them for their time.
Mm-hmm.
And we just do not have enough money coming in to be able to be putting out as much podcast content as we had been putting out. We really do enjoy talking to you guys, and so we don't want to eliminate it altogether. We are going to try a new format, if you will, moving forward that we will hopefully be able to afford more consistently. And we are planning right now to be putting out a podcast every other Monday. And on the Mondays that we don't put out a podcast, we will have vlogs coming out. We did see some comments this week, and we appreciate all the love and support from many of you, but that is just where we're at. And we are making some changes behind the scenes to hopefully
Speaking
be able
of
to
making change, I did heard over TikTok. Fortunately, TikTok is getting banned next year.
nothing's set in stone. Nothing's set in
But
stone.
it's not a set of stuff for that. Donald Trump is working on it, and he will save TikTok. Make sure it's not gonna get banned on January 19th of 2025. So we'll see what TikTok stands right now.
I think it'll keep getting kicked down the road for a while, and I have a feeling TikTok's going to do everything in its power to make it work in some capacity. But I don't know what that situation's going to be. But I do know that for us, with the state of where we are at, I just do not have the capacity to be doing Baker Banter on a full-time basis. It's just the financial side of it is not there, and unfortunately, I do have a family and a future family that I need to be providing for, and I'm not able to do that with the way things have been going this year. And so I am taking a step back from the amount of time I'm able to spend on Baker Banter, and I'm trying to do my best to find a good balance so that we can still have some presence online to interact with you guys and to give you an outlet to Derek. But with that said, Derek, we are going to start a new thing. We've done it once already, but we're going to keep doing it. We're going to be doing Wrestling Wednesdays. So you can expect Derek's hottest take from the wrestling world each Wednesday.
Last week we did the New Day. This week we got Rhea Ripley and Adam Pearce. So
I'm only going to be posting one. So it'll just depend on which one I think is the better of the two videos. But we will be posting one.
Till you hear them, you will post them both. So
they're going to be that good, Jenna.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see about that. But yeah, that's just the reality of the situation. At the end of the day, we do have to, it is a business. We love talking to you guys, and we love having a relationship with you guys online. But I got to put food on the table.
Right. And we're going to have some changes, but we're going to see what next year holds for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's that.
And I'm praying very hard for Ricky Rich to wrap up, comes back.
We'll see.
Good. Keep praying.
Yeah, we'll see. But
I'm really hoping for that.
Okay. But today I did want to talk to you about some holiday stuff since it is the holidays. Yep. I thought we should talk about Down syndrome and the holidays and what that looks like. So let's start in the summer months and work our way toward.
Well, I was going to mention real quick, even Easter, right? I remember when Derek and Katie were really little. You weren't quite as little, right? Because you're 3.5 years older.
Are you going to go to Easter egg hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Katie used to just annihilate Derek.
Oh, she'd run laps around him.
I
used to steal the eggs out of her basket and put them in Derek's.
Yeah. Well, because she would she's 4 years younger, and she's 3 years old and he's 7. Well, he should be able to keep up. So she's got 150 eggs in her basket and he has 2, and she doesn't get the inequity there.
Yeah. And she
because
gets
he
mad
just
when
wasn't,
the rest of us hold her back.
Yeah. He just wasn't as quick as she was, and so
she saw the challenge and accepted it.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are like, Katie, be nice to your brother.
Yeah. And so we would take some out of Katie's basket and hide them in places that were a little easier for Derek to find and things like that. But I just remember that when they were really little.
There was definitely some rivalry action going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
And Derek would get mad at her.
Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over Easter eggs. Yeah. So that's my, kind of thought on Easter.
Yeah.
4th of July was always a big challenge when Derek was little because he did not like the noise of the fireworks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just,
Do you remember
it
that,
scared
Derek?
him.
Uh-huh.
So we never would really, I never really took you kids to a big fireworks show where we were really close to it because it would really bother his ears. And so we would oftentimes, kind of go sit up near the highway so we could see like 5 or 6 different cities shooting off their fireworks at the same time.
We'd find a high point where we could see many from afar.
But we were way far away from the crowds and the real noise, but we could see the actual fireworks off in the distance. So, but this year we were in California for the fireworks and we were on top of them. And what'd you think?
It's kind of crazy right now because we did lots of things in the air. It's like see fireworks in California. That was a great time.
You liked those fireworks this year in California, didn't you?
I did.
I couldn't believe how close, how comfortable you were being so close.
It was very close. I could hear, actually hurt my ears just a little bit, but when it going up and doing crashes and then something like that, those fireworks are intense, and I love it.
Yeah, you liked it this year. It was cool.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I think is interesting is for somebody.
By the way, I do want to further say we are headed to AEW this Thursday.
Yeah, we are headed to AEW. It does surprise me how little the noise and the fireworks impact you these days at a wrestling event.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like
it's like when a wrestler follows the fireworks, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But any other time, he's like, I hate these fireworks.
Yeah. But I wonder if that's why, all these events that we've been so lucky to attend, maybe they've,
kind of like
dampened his resistance to
Yeah.
I mean, like Cody Rhodes comes out and
it's
like it's a 4th of July show.
Yes. Well, and the very first one that we attended, I mean, we went to Royal Rumble, but when we were at WrestleMania for the first time in Dallas, we were so close to where they shot off the fireworks. We could feel the heat. And it was impactful and like awfully loud.
Crazy for WrestleMania, and especially this year. And one of my favorite matches is definitely Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes finally finished his story, what he wants to do, and now he did. We're all happy about it.
Okay, you're
No
right.
yelling.
But I do wonder if that. I bet it did have an impact on his enjoyment of the fireworks. It's just he's more comfortable with all the noise and whatever.
Right. Well, one thing I was going to say, and this kind of just
Fireworks
applies to like everyday life, but it specifically I feel like can be heightened at times in big crowds, like at a 4th of July fireworks show or at a Thanksgiving Day parade or like whatever you might be at on these like holidays is like, I've always been kind of thankful, and maybe this is a weird way to say this, and I don't know the right way to say this, but I've always been kind of thankful that Derek had Down syndrome of all of the disabilities he could have, because it's easily identifiable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very clear that he is different. And sometimes I think there are people who have disabilities who don't get the same level of understanding.
Yeah,
from
they don't get the same kind of grace.
Yeah, they're not given grace because they don't look different.
Right.
And because it is not clear that they have Down syndrome or that they use a wheelchair or that they whatever, their disability is not evident. It's not clear. Like this oftentimes affects the autism community.
They don't get the same grace.
People don't understand why a fireworks show might impact somebody so severely, or why big crowds might trigger somebody in the way
or somebody in the TSA line getting nervous and upset.
The TSA line's such a good example, or like why they might need a little bit more time or might need a little bit more patience or a little bit more explanation and all those kinds of things. And
I have
think,
always said that.
yeah, and like I don't know, like I don't know what the right way to say that is, but it's just the truth.
Yeah,
like,
you look at Derek and you see that
you know
he
he's
has-
different.
You see that he has Down syndrome. Your dad met this lady in an airport, and I'll keep this really brief. One time, sat with her on an airplane for several hours, and they were just chatting, and she had a child with autism. Of course, Derek has Down syndrome. They were chatting, and she's like, she doesn't get a lot of grace, and her
Yeah.
kid didn't get a lot of grace. And I guess one time they were at a grocery store or something, and there was a rather large woman like perusing the cookie aisle, and the kid has no filter like somebody else I know. And he hollers at the lady, "Step away from the cookies." And of course you look at him and he just looks like everybody else. And of course the lady was pissed,
Yeah.
not realizing that he was actually a young man with autism and doesn't have the same kind of filter. And of course his mom was mortified. But anyway, I do think I've always said that we get a little more grace with having a child with Down syndrome versus some other disabilities. So.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that that's true. I think, if I had to choose of all the disabilities, I'd choose Down syndrome every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it's the truth. But one thing that I do think what was tough for Derek growing up was the occasional holiday, like Memorial Day, Labor Day, like things where all of a sudden the weekdays were different.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Bachelor Berlin is not my favorite pay-per-view. Just to let you know about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, anytime the school schedule was off for whatever reason, whether it was a scheduled holiday
Or
or
snow
teachers'
day.
conferences or a snow day,
Election
or
day.
whatever, like getting him to go back to school the next day was difficult.
Yes.
It was difficult. And I always used to tell him, buddy, we would battle. Like he would tell me I was wrong. There's no school again. There's no school again. There's no school again. I'd be like, there's school. No, there's not. Yes, there is. No, there's not. And finally I'd just say, okay, well, get up and get ready and go outside. And if the bus doesn't come, you don't have to get on it. And so he would get up and he would get ready. And I'll bet you
what would
every single
happen?
time the bus came.
Did the bus come?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that he would fight it so much.
Oh,
Because
it was a battle.
I know he enjoyed the days off because obviously he didn't want to go back. But he loved going to school.
He did.
Once he was there. But I feel like I was similar.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's like that.
It's like once you're there, you're good. But getting there is, whew.
Especially those early mornings. I mean, you kids got up early back in the day.
Yeah.
Glad we don't have to do that anymore, aren't you?
So glad for that.
Yeah. So probably in about the last, 8 to 10 years, Derek has gotten into Black Friday shopping with us.
Yes.
So we took
a break for a few years
We
because
did.
of
we did
our
some
trips
wrestling
to
events.
Survivor Series. But you did some Black Friday shopping again this year.
Yeah.
We did.
What I thought was
Even
funny
though
was
we did not went to Vancouver Survivor Series board games, I think it's a good idea to go do a Black Friday shopping.
We had a
this
great
week.
weekend in Kansas City with Vicky and her family.
what I thought was funny was that when Derek was saying what he was thankful for, which I don't know that everybody caught on to this. I tried to put a little sticker on there to make it clear, but Derek said he was thankful for hunting season, which really means he's thankful for Dad leaving to go hunting.
Well, that might have been because right before Derek did his thankful things, Mom did her thankful things, and I said I was thankful for hunting season.
Well, there's that.
But that wasn't recorded. But yeah, we did our Black Friday shopping.
And he said, I'd rather go Black Friday shopping with the girls.
Yes. Yeah. And Target is a big favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And, Derek and I do struggle a little bit when we're Black Friday shopping because Derek wants to buy a gift for everybody in the family on both sides.
Yes.
And, he wants to pay, $50, $60, $70 a person. I'm like, we're not going to spend that much money. We've got a budget and we've got to stay in that budget. But we made it work.
It is very sweet how much you like to give.
He loves to give, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. He loves to give, and He loves to make the family smile, and you have the sweetest heart, and I know that you come from that place where you're just trying to tell your family that you love them and you want to give them a gift. But yeah, mom's got to rein in the dollars.
Yes. Derek also has a tendency of thinking that everyone who he wants to buy a gift likes what Derek likes.
Yeah, we did go through that again.
I don't remember what happened. Do you remember the year that we got Chris the Game of Thrones pants? We almost threw down that year. I don't remember what happened, but I remember there being a blow up at Target. And I'm pretty sure there was something from you along the lines of, you go that way and you go that way. You need to separate right now. Because Derek and I were about to go to Fist City over some Game of Thrones sweatpants at Target on Black Friday. I don't remember what happened, though. I just remember the Game of Thrones sweatpants, which
they were pajama pants.
Pajama pants, that's right. Which I recently fixed for Chris because they had a hole in them, and now he's been wearing them again. But you do love Black Friday shopping. What do you love about Black Friday shopping?
Well, one thing I do love Black Friday shopping is definitely going out every single stores, get something for the family for Christmas. That's exactly what Black Friday shopping is about. It's super fun about it, and every year I've been on Black Friday shopping. It's so fun.
You know what else he likes about Black Friday shopping?
The margaritas.
Pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, that's good. We did also implement a...
Listen, now we're getting a Starbucks here.
We
I
implemented
have a pumpkin spice every week.
We implemented a Black Friday tradition after I turned 21 on accident one year because we went Black Friday shopping and we decided to go get Mexican food at lunchtime. And Mom and I got a little lit on margaritas.
We were both driving, and after that, my mom and my sister were driving our cars.
Yeah, we both were capable of getting our cars to the restaurant. We were not capable of getting our cars away from the restaurant. But now it's become another tradition. Because here's the thing about Black Friday shopping. Derek goes to Target. And that is all that Derek does. He does not go anywhere else. He does not hang out with us for the rest of the day. He goes to Target. He goes to Mexican food. He goes home. And Derek has the stamina for one place and one place only, and that place is Target, right?
It's not just Target, Jenna. Also Walmart too.
Yeah, well, we didn't go to Walmart on Black Friday. We did go to Old Navy the day before, though, so we did do a little.
And Derek went to Old Navy?
Yeah.
Oh.
We did a little pre-shop, and we had some Schlotzsky's for lunch out there in Kansas City. Yay! Wow. No Schlotzsky's in St. Louis. It's such a bummer.
Well, it was weird for us not to be together on Thanksgiving.
It was a weird Thanksgiving. Katie was in Florida. You
were
here, and Dad and Derek and I were in Kansas City. But
I gotta be honest, I think we did the right thing.
It was nice, and I think it was good for me. I know it was good for me, and I think it was good for my sister that we were there because it's really our first real Thanksgiving without our mom and dad. Yeah, our dad's been gone for years, but.
And your siblings always came to town because Mimi and Papa were here.
Right.
Which by default meant they came to see you too.
Right.
And now that Mimi and Papa aren't here, I do think that it's fair for them to hope that you'll come to them a little bit more frequently.
Yeah, we actually talked about trying to do a Kansas City, then a St. Louis, then a New York. But we'll have to see that. And if, Kyle's got that property he's bought, he's got some big plans for that property. If he gets a lot of housing on that property like he's talking about, it's only 30 minutes from Uncle Dana's. So,
right.
We'll see. We'll see.
But I think it was good for you guys to go. And to be honest,
New York, did we do that awesome dream ride thing this year?
We did go to that awesome dream ride thing.
And Jack posted a vlog about it this week. Did you see it?
Only one.
Oh, it was part one. Yeah.
Part 2, part 1, not part 2 yet.
Part 2 is not out yet. But Chris and I had a great day. But I got to throw him under the bus real quick.
Oh, yeah. He had the time screwed up, didn't he?
We were an hour and a half late to Thanksgiving.
And not just because Jenna was late.
No, it had nothing to do with me being late. Okay, here's the thing. Normally, Chris and I are splitting our time between his family and my family. And so normally I'm very hyper aware of when people are starting at one house, when people are starting at another house, how long we're going to be able to spend with this family, how long we're going to be able to spend with this family, what's fair, what makes sense, what does his mom want, what does my mom want? Like, I am all over it. Well, this year I'm like, Mom, if you're going to have a better day in Kansas City, go to Kansas City. We're going to be okay. You go have fun with your sister, have some one-on-one time with your sister, see the baby, do the things, whatever. So when they decided they were going to do that and I knew we were only going to one place, I was like, I got this. I'm going to bring some appetizers. I'm going to partake. I'm going to help. I was so excited. I had all my trays washed. I had all these things I was going to put out. Thankfully, my mother told me that the appetizer I was planning to make was quite time consuming. So I started early. I was cooking by 9 a.m. I made these brie bites. They were delicious. One of his aunts actually texted me for the recipe afterward.
Nice.
Because they all liked them. And they knew because I had posted that I was making these brie bites. So that multiple of the family had seen it on my Snap story that I was doing the brie bites. And then Chris told me it started at 3. And so I was prepared to be there. He wanted to leave between 2 and 2:30 so that we could get there early. So we were on time to be there at 2:40. So we were actually an hour and 10 minutes late. We arrived at 2:40. 5 minutes into our drive over to his parents' house, he gets a text from his brother. Where are you guys? We're sitting down to dinner. And I am like, what?
They were supposed to be there at 1:30.
We were supposed to be there at 1:30. He's like, gets this text. And he's immediately like, will you check your phone? What was the time? So his family will send out these email invites to their family events. And I received the email invite and I did take accountability for the fact that I did not look at the email invite. And that's on me. But Chris told me it started at 3:00. And let me tell you something about me and Chris. He has very, very good time management. And I have very, very poor time management. We are most definitely opposites in that regard. And he keeps me in line. And I never tell him where to be and when to be there because I'm not good at it and he is. So generally speaking, if one of us is in charge of time, it's him. So when he told me it started at 3:00, I believed him. Because we were going to his parents' house to see his family. And he told me it started at 3. I believed him. It started at 3. It did not start at 3. And we arrived at 2:40, an hour and 10 minutes late. I had the majority of the appetizers. And luckily, there was actually other appetizers there. But I had definitely made more appetizers than anybody else. And I think had I been on time, the majority of my appetizers would have been eaten. For the amount of time that we were late, I was very impressed with how many of my appetizers got eaten. And luckily, we didn't actually sit down for dinner until like 4:00 because there's one family that comes that has 2 little babies at home. And so they were told, come after nap time and we'll eat when you guys get here. And luckily for Chris and I, nap time ended up being a little later in the afternoon. So they didn't arrive until 3:45. We sat down at 4. And therefore, there was still a good amount of time for my appetizers to get eaten. But yes, it was... I will never make that mistake again. Nor will Chris. Nor will his mom. She's like, well, next time I'll text you in the morning and remind you what time it starts. And I'm like, Kim, we talked about this. Like, I had talked to her so many times about all the appetizers I was making. I was like, you knew we were planning on being early. She knew we weren't even seeing my family. I'm like, I can't believe nobody called us until, like, by the time they texted us, we were an hour late. Which, honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't get a text like 5 minutes late because at that point, I wasn't going to be ready until I was going to be ready, because I spent 4 hours cooking in the morning, and I got in the shower, and as soon as I was ready to go, we walked out the door. So it's not like we were just like lollygagging around. Like at that point, I would have just been frantic because I wouldn't have been ready the way I wanted to be ready. And he would have been like, oh my God, we're late. We got to go right now. And I would have been like, half my head of hair is curled. This is a problem. So it's fine. It's fine. And it was funny. And now, you know, I came in quite hot and rather frazzled, and they were all laughing at me, and that's okay. And yeah. So, okay, we do need to wrap up, but before we wrap up, I think we got to talk about Christmas and Derek Baker and how much you love it. Christmas morning. Well, let's start with Christmas
That
Eve.
is the only day of the year this boy gets up before anybody else in the house. Every year. Every single year.
Every
he is
year.
the first one out of bed.
And
it is the only day he is ever the first one out of bed.
the night before, what do you do for Santa?
Well, Zay and I are like this.
You are.
That's so true.
We're besties for life, baby.
Besties for life, baby.
Santa and I are like this.
We are.
Should put that on a sweatshirt.
You should.
I'm going to write that down.
But like every year, I keep seeing that Santa comes to town yet, and now he's gonna be in town when middle of my sleepy time. I get up and go to the restroom, and I look at the fireplace at nighttime, and I saw Santa is here. Santa's here. That's all the stuff. That's all the stuff what Santa left us.
So did you see Santa, or you saw that Santa was here because all the stuff was there?
Well, Santa did come
While you were sleeping.
while I was sleeping.
Got it.
When I wake up, go use the restroom, Santa actually left before I got up, actually.
That's
Mhm.
how he does it.
What does Santa mean to you?
And I saw the stuff, like stuff in a stocking, the stuff on the stuff on
The fireplace.
the fireplace is especially stuff down there as well on the floor
In front of the fireplace.
in front of the fireplace. I always think that, like, every single time.
Santa has never let you down, has he?
Santa is big old jolly, and that's exactly he does. And like every single time during Christmas Eve, I lay out cookies for him.
Yes, you do.
I write a note for him. That note, as she says, coming to my room.
He never does he?
And last my check,
He doesn't listen.
when I was asleep, I hear the door creak.
Oh, maybe he did listen.
Maybe you didn't wake up. Maybe he poked his head in and you didn't even know.
I hear the door creak like every night.
Every Christmas Eve.
Every single time. Maybe this year I might turn on my CPAP off, take that max off, and if I hear that door creak again, I'll be like, Santa, is that you?
Mm-hmm.
And Santa says, "Ho, ho, ho! It's me, your best pal, Santa Claus."
You're so cute.
You're funny. Derek does wake up first on Christmas morning.
Like every single morning, I have been.
And we always
Been
have
awake.
cinnamon rolls.
And they always make him wait for Chris and I to arrive. And he FaceTimes us many times in the morning. And if I don't answer, he'll call Chris. And he wants to know when we're coming.
Yep.
Because he's ready to go. And we do always have cinnamon rolls.
Yep.
I even brought our cinnamon rolls to Thanksgiving to have them at Vicky's house, didn't I?
Oh,
yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, we always have cinnamon
Yes.
rolls on the
Yeah.
holidays, the big holidays.
Yes. As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's very sweet how much Christmas spirit you have. What does Santa Claus mean to you?
Only one thing I do know about Santa is, like I said, he's a big old jolly. That's definitely definitely Saint Nick I know of for sure.
He's a cool
If-
guy.
If Santa Claus is listening to this right now, Santa is one of my good friends, and I look up to him like big. I always believe in Santa because I have all the time, like every single Christmas morning, I always wake up first. I always be right next to my stuff. And I look in my stocking and I saw incredible things like wrestling pay-per-views, like this awesome action figure of Dakota Kai. You can tell.
Yeah, that was Santa's gift last year, wasn't it?
This was last year's Santa gift, and that's crazy. I really hoping to get Solo Sokoa. Like he knows he knows me that well. That well, like Santa Claus knows the passion of wrestling,
Absolutely.
and it did got me 2 elimination chambers, one in 2011 and other 2010.
Well, there you go. Okay, we got to wrap up.
And that Santa Claus is one big jolly Saint Nick everybody loves.
I agree. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here and listening. And we're sorry that we're only going to be visiting you every other week on the podcast now, but we hope you'll still join us and still listen and still have a good time. We do have our merch on bakerbanter.com. Check it out. We also have my Etsy store at the link in our bio. You can check that out as well. I've been working
That's
hard
right.
on
And make sure you get your Derek, Katie, and Jenna, and the Bobcat.
Exactly.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Love that. Okay. And we find us on TikTok, Instagram, all the things at Baker Banter. Find Derek on Snapchat, especially you wrestling fans. He does still post his wrestling predictions each day before the wrestling event.
One day we will talk about wrestling for sure, but it's not gonna be right now.
Okay.
Maybe before New Year's Eve.
We'll see about that. Find us on Cameo at bakerbanter.com and like, share, subscribe, leave a positive review, and we will talk to you next time.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.